Now I'm thinking about another case that many of the viewers will be aware of, and that's referred to as the Ken and Barbie case. Real names, of course, Paul Bernardo, Carla Hamalka. And that becomes another intriguing case, particularly with forensic psychology. Why? Because we had a lot of elements with two people. Two people, meaning they were husband and wife. We've got this young couple in their 20s, quite attractive, by the way, hence the moniker Ken and Barbie. And together they participated in horrendous sexual violence, misconduct, rape, as well as killing. So that is a rarity. But interestingly, in that case, it was the male who started first as a serial rapist in Canada. Then he marries his wife, who allegedly, upon hearing, "Oh, honey, would you like to rape and murder young girls?" Apparently, she goes along with it and is a willful participant. So I think the doctor made a lot of good points, but again, back to what we're focusing on here, this far-reaching allegation of a child of a serial killer who would willfully participate based on drawings, and that's how we're making this determination. Once again, I just do not subscribe to it nor agree with it.
Dr. Debbie, excellent presentation again on that. And, the Gilgo 4, Maureen Brainerd Barnes went missing in 2007. Melissa Bartolome, 2009, Megan Waterman, 2010, and Amber Costello, 2010. Victoria Heuermann is 27 years old. So you do the math. You think she really went along on those cases with her father on those murders? I very seriously doubt it. About a year ago, we had Dr. Joni Johnson on the show. And we asked her straight out, do you think that Asa Ellerup was involved? Because it's easy to make the connection. If Asa Ellerup was involved, then perhaps Victoria Heuermann was also involved. But I'm not seeing – look, when we first started covering this case, I really felt that the Suffolk County Police, the Gilgo Beach Task Force, cleared her too quickly because I wasn't ready to say, oh, she didn't do it. But they had been working on this case for, I guess, that by the time they took it down, about 14 or 15 months, I believe that was about. And so they had them under surveillance and they did their research. So they were more qualified to say who wasn't involved than we are looking from the outside looking in. So I asked Dr. Joni Johnston, who was on the show, and we're going to listen to what she said in regards to this.
Control.
I believe that, but I just want to ask Dr. Joni, do you think she knew about his nefarious activities or was involved?
I do not think that she was involved in his activities. I would be very surprised. Now, we know that serial killers about 25% of the time commit their crimes with somebody else. So it's not, super rare for that to happen. I don't see that happening here. And, if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say I was blindsided by that. I just don't see that.
And if you're wrong, we're going to pull you back on the show to make you
and yell at me. Yeah, to explain myself. And the other thing I would say is, the whole issue of, did she know? My question is, did she know what? Did she have suspicions that her husband maybe was seeing sex workers? Possibly. I know there were certain parts of the house she wasn't supposed to go into. So clearly, I think she must have had some indication that something was not right, or he was secretive about some things. That's a long way to go from my husband is secretive, or he's keeping weapons in the basement, I don't want to see them, or whatever, or he's acting strange or whatever, to my husband is a sexually motivated serial killer who's picking up sex workers and torturing them to death.
But she passively allowed his behavior. And maybe, she was abused to the point where she was beaten down that she couldn't object to his behavior.
Well, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what kind of conversations they had. We don't know at some point, did she say to him, are you seeing sex workers? Or are you having an affair? We don't know what went on in their home and what kind of conversations they had.
100%. So that was Dr. Joni. And I thought that was, sorry, I wasn't quick enough to the drawer there. That was Dr. Joni, and I thought that she came right out and said, "No, I don't think she was involved." And like me, of course, non-serial killer expert, me, just opinionated like everyone else. I thought that perhaps she might have known about it, just because there were so many factors in this case that make everyone uncomfortable. And one, of course, is the condition of that house. That house, to me, gives me pause, and that's PAUSE, not PAWS. It gives me pause because almost can't believe humans can live in that house. And here's this guy who's an architect, apparently makes pretty damn good money, and his house is an eyesore on the block. I'm sure the neighbors would like to blow that house up so it doesn't lower the value of their homes. But those things make me very suspect. Professor Mike.
Billy, yeah, I think, and I always tell my students, what seems to be the most logical, reliably accurate explanation. So I think in this case, and when we talked to Dr. Johnson, she was giving us, some real basic ideas that, all husbands and wives work out their own relationship. She may have known that he had some girlfriends occasionally on the side and things like that, and that maybe he was visiting prostitutes, and she may have turned a blind eye to it, and she may have accepted the fact that, remember, this was his home that he had since he was a baby, and she's married. He brings her to that house, and she's looking at this house, and she's fitting into his house. It's not a house that they bought together, and she's now in charge of the house and saying, okay, this is my house, and I want you to paint this, I want you to fix this. And the mom in the family, the wife in the family saying, this is my home, and we're going to work on this together. No, that was his house, his realm, and I think she was okay with a lot of that, his controlling, quiet, hiding behavior, sneaky behavior. And I think she probably knew on some levels that maybe he was getting his jollies visiting a sex worker here and there. And I don't think it went any farther than that. To implicate Asa just because we don't like her behavior after this has all come after the arrest, I think is ridiculous, because we all react to stress very differently. And I think it's unfair to Victoria to say, your dad's a serial killer and we think your artwork is creepy. Where's the connection? Where's the conduct? Just because I read something doesn't mean I do something. Just because I like something doesn't mean that as a hobby or I'm reading about it, I'm fascinated by it.